wanted to make just like an enormous crystal, so big you might call it a pet? Well, today I'm going to teach you how with my experiment, Pet Crystal. Hi everyone, I'm Emily Calandrelli, MIT engineer and host of Emily's Wonder Lab. And on my channel, we learn about all things space and science. So grab some alum because we're about to supersize some science.
Emily's Science Lab, stay curious and keep exploring. Emily's Science Lab, stay curious and keep exploring.
Today we're making a giant crystal with something called alum, otherwise known as potassium aluminum sulfate. It's a compound that's used in the pickling process and also in things like deodorants, but today we are going to use it to make our pet crystal. To make our giant pet alum crystal, we must first make a saturated solution of alum. To do that, you need 1/2 cup of purified, that's important here, purified water, 2 tablespoons of alum. You can get this in the spice section at a grocery store or you can buy it online. I'll link it in the caption. And a glass to mix all of this in. Now, once we make this, afterwards, we are also going to need a coffee filter, another glass, and some thin nylon string. To make our giant pet crystal, we must first make a saturated solution of alum. Here's how you do that. Take your 1/2 cup of hot purified water and put it in a glass. Now, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of our alum. 1, 2. Now you want to stir that in until all the alum dissolves. And if you're having a hard time dissolving your alum, just heat up your solution a little bit more because hot water can hold more alum than cold water. So by heating it up, you'll make it easier to dissolve. Once all of your alum is dissolved, you have created your saturated solution and your pet crystal is ready to start growing. So what we're going to do is set this aside, place a coffee filter on top to prevent any dust from falling in, and we are going to let this cool for about 3 to 5 hours. Check back in on your glass because you'll begin to see some of those alum crystals start forming. After a few hours, you will begin to see little crystals growing in your glass. And now we are trying to pick out the most perfect crystal to begin our pet crystal process. Here's what you're looking for. This is an example of what I would consider to be a perfect crystal for 2 reasons. 1, it's very clear. You don't want it to be cloudy, you want it to be clear. And 2, it's not connected to any other crystals. You'll notice as you let your alum solution sit longer, those crystals will begin to clump up on top of each other. So you want to pluck one out before that happens. As we do that, we are going to put it in a separate glass all by itself and sit it right in the center. Now what you want to do is take your original glass and chop up all of the other crystals that were in the glass, and then we are going to reheat up this solution. You can either do this on the stovetop or put this in the microwave at 30-second intervals and just stir it up. Because what we want to happen is for all of those crystals that we didn't want to dissolve. We are recreating our saturated solution of alum. After it's perfectly dissolved, you want to let it sit for 15 minutes to cool down a little. You don't want it to be so hot that it dissolves your perfect crystal. So let it cool down a little bit just so it's warm. And then put a coffee filter on top of the cup with your perfect crystal. And then put your slightly warm saturated alum solution into that cup. We are using a coffee filter just to try to filter out any dust or anything that kind of fell into our glass accidentally. Just like so. Now ideally, we would have our alum crystal suspended in our alum solution so that it could grow 3-dimensionally. We want to tie our pet crystal with nylon string because nylon string is very smooth and frictionless, which makes it hard for alum crystals to grow around it. But here's the tough part about this type of string. It's going to be very difficult to tie a knot around your alum crystal, but it gets a little bit easier as the crystal grows. That's what we're doing here. We want your pet alum crystal, that seed crystal, to grow to about 1/4 inch wide, so it's just a little bit easier to tie a knot around. Once you are able to tie a knot around your seed crystal, what we want to do is suspend it in our glass. You can do that with a popsicle stick. So go ahead and measure it to make sure that that's going to be at the right height. I do it a little bit lower. just so it'll be completely submerged in our alum solution. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and tape my nylon string to my popsicle stick, just like so. And then place my popsicle stick on my glass, just like that. So once again, we want to reheat up our saturated solution. Eventually, we will add more alum to resaturate it, but because we only took a little bit of a crystal out, this stuff is still good to go. So go ahead and take your seed crystal out of your cup, and we are going to repeat the process where we take the coffee filter, put it on your glass, and put your alum solution in the new glass. And then take your seed crystal and place it in your glass. And you might need to readjust the height here if it's not completely submerged. I'm gonna go ahead and make mine a little bit longer. Now that it's long enough, let's see if that will be submerged. Perfect, that looks great. Yes, that is completely submerged in our solution. So you're just going to let this sit overnight and let your pet crystal grow. What you might find happens is that your pet crystal falls out of the knot. You might need to pick it back up and retie it. I'm telling you, it's a little bit of a tedious process, but all pets are a little bit tedious, right? It's a pet. So we're just gonna keep checking back on our solution, making sure that our crystal is suspended in that alum, and watch it grow, baby, grow. After 1 day of growth of your pet crystal, what you want to do is just recreate a new batch of saturated solution. So go ahead and do that same process where you use 1/2 cup of hot purified water plus 2 tablespoons of alum, dissolve it, make sure it's perfectly dissolved, and then once it's cooled down a little bit, take your suspended pet crystal and place it in the new batch of saturated alum solution. And go ahead and keep repeating this process day after day after day. And the longer you wait, the larger your crystal will grow. And if you do this, tag me because I'd love to see what alum crystals you create. They have competitions all over the country on people creating the most perfect alum crystals. So I'll be interested to see what you create. Let me show you mine. So here are some of the pet crystals that I made. We were having trouble with the nylon string for a little while, so we used thread instead. And you can see what happens is that you don't get one of those big alum single crystals. You get a little bit of a clump of them that climb up the string, but it's still so beautiful. Look at this. This is after 24 hours. And then if you let it sit in there a little bit longer, those clumps get even bigger and you get oh my gosh, look at this one right at the top. That is so pretty. Why do crystals have these beautiful geometric patterns? Well, it's because crystals form when atoms form these highly organized repeating patterns. And the shape of the crystal depends on the shape of the patterns that the atoms take. And in perfect conditions, alum will form something called an octahedron, which looks like 2 pyramids stacked up on top of each other. In my kitchen here, we don't have the perfect laboratory conditions, so you don't really see that here, but at the top, I mean, you can kind of see that shape, actually. That looks really beautiful. It's just so hard to form that perfect octahedron shape, but you can see these jagged edges and these flat surfaces and just this very characteristic crystal structure here. And if you're having trouble suspending your pet crystal in the solution, just let it sit on the bottom of the cup. You will still get a beautiful crystal. And let me show you what that looks like. So this one just sat in a cup for 24 to 48 hours. And look how gorgeous this is. So if you can't suspend it, that's no big deal. Look how pretty the flat ones are too. Some might argue that those are even prettier. Those are much easier to make, so maybe go for that if you're having trouble suspending it. Thank you for making pet crystals with me. If you like this one, be sure to check out my best-selling Stay Curious and Keep Exploring book series for 99 more science experiments. I'm Emily Calandrelli. Subscribe for all things science and space. And remember, stay curious and keep exploring. I'll see you next time.
Emily's Science Lab.